Hello, I'm Sutoni and I'm joined by Rain. We have the first match for you here from the Streamfleet Showdown Invitational. Uh, Spooky action. They have a Typhoon, Prophecy, Confessor, Retribution, Mauler, and Punisher, and they've sort of come in mostly at ranges 50 kilometers. Actually, the entire team's at 50 kilometers.
Yeah, and Wrecking Crew has brought their Punisher Retribution at 30 and Stork at 30, as well as the Oracle and Armageddon at 50. They also have accidentally brought their Blackbird in at 70, which I believe is being fixed right now. So we may take a few more moments for this match to start.
Yeah, so what do you think is going to happen here, Rain? It looks like Wrecking Crew are kind of at 50 kilometers. Spooky Action are all at 50 kilometers in a ball. They're probably going. I imagine they probably want to kite if possible. Although they obviously really want to be able to kill that Blackbird and catch that Oracle. It'd be interesting to see what happens to this Blackbird because I'm not sure what's going to happen if they're going to teleport it to where the Oracle is. Because I assume he wanted to come in at 50, but normally when you break the rules, at least in the Alliance tournament, with warpins, you get teleported to 0, and that would be very bad for him, especially with the angle that these ships are at.
Yeah, so the Blackbird actually has multi-spec jams, and if he does not land those jams, so this is old ECM, so people have to realize that if the Blackbird lands a jam, those targets cannot lock. And so if he lands those, I believe the Wrecking Crew will probably have a better advantage because that's at least 20 seconds, so they can start picking off spooky action. But if they don't, then that Blackbird's probably going to start going down first.
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning that the Blackbird has 5 multi-spec jammers. It's probably not going to be able to jam everything on Wrecking Crew's team. Like you probably want 2 or 3 on the Armageddon to be able to jam it out. This Armageddon actually has rapid heavy missiles, so it will be able to put a lot of DPS onto that Blackbird if it doesn't get jammed. Sorry, the Typhoon. Typhoon is cruise missiles, and they should apply pretty well. They also have They also have the Prophecy with drones, which isn't going to get jammed. The Mauler also has the Confessor, and the Confessor also has the Sharpshooter mode too, which will also make it much harder to jam, especially with multi specs. So they should be able to put a lot of DPS into it.
Yeah, that Blackbird's really going to have to choose his targets wisely. And as you can see, I'm not sure if the stream can actually see this. He's actually repositioning. So once he lands back on grid, we will be able to then start the match. And I know additionally, the fancy UI is showing a couple people extra on the Spooky Action team, and that's simply because they are, I want to say, in fleet with them or in their alliance. So the UI is kind of okay. Yeah, so they're spectators. So they're just simply watching the match. So that's something that's a little bit different than the Alliance tournament or other tournaments in the past. Is we've kind of finagled the fancy UI and Thunderdome to fit this sort of.
So the angle that these teams are at is like a 90-degree angle. The distance between the two teams is about 50 to 60 kilometers, which is almost perfect for the Oracle here. The Oracle has about 68 kilometer optimal range on Scorch L, and it's going to be able to do a lot of DPS.
Yeah, and the thing is with the Oracle kiting, you also have Spooky Action having that Punisher and Retribution, which do have scrams. So if those frigates can actually get tackle on the Oracle, then the Oracle may not last much longer because obviously Oracles aren't really known for having their tank. And obviously this tournament has absolutely no logistics. So no logistic ships, no logistic. So the Blackbird is back on field, so we should be able to get this match started shortly. So, Tony, what do you think Wrecking Crew's first action is going to be?
I think Wrecking Crew probably wants to kill the Confessor as fast as possible because again, it's one of those ships that's really hard for the Blackbird, and it's also a ship that does like a ton of DPS, but it's quite squishy itself.
Yeah. All right, so we do have 10 seconds left until the match starts, and we will actually see if they do what you think they're going to do.
Yeah, I think they really need to try and remove this Confessor as fast as possible because it's going to wreak havoc, I think, on that Blackbird if it doesn't get jammed. If they do waste multi-specs on the Confessor, then the Typhoon and Prophecy are probably going to be freed up, and they probably don't want that to be able to just put salvos into their Blackbird. Seeing a Punisher taking damage, first of all, from Paxson.
Yep, and we see the actual Punisher and Retribution from the Spooky Action side kind of actually trying to get transversal. and keep their team safe. It looks like they are staying within relatively close to their own team.
Yeah, it looks like they are trying to pressure that Confessor. I believe there was a couple of drones going after him. Looks like the Blackbird is also what team Spooky Action are trying to get rid of, which makes sense.
Yeah, it looks like it's just being shot by drones because if I remember correctly, the Blackbird is not actually shield tank. So it's just taking damage from drones. It's not actually being primaried by anything in particular. And we can see the actual Wrecking Crew's control bar going up, so we see the jam attempts across the field. So those we can assume are probably successful, as well as those get.
And the Oracle's in quite a lot of trouble, actually. I believe that he's actually got like a buffer shield tank. There's no logistics in this format, obviously. There's no Logibots either. So the Stalker's actually caught too, although it looks like he just broke web and scram range. I'm not sure if that was as a result of him doing like a drive-by or the Geddon saving him, although it looks like he is tackled again.
Yeah, so the Stork, I know you guys can't see it on your screen, but he is webbed in, so he will be going down shortly. There are only 2 ECM attempts on both the Retribution and the Typhoon, so maybe this Blackbird is trying to rescue his Stork friend, with the Prophecy now being webbed and scrammed as well.
Yeah, we're seeing Wild Things get pressured quite a bit here too. He's had a heavy newt on him for a while, and he's been taking some damage. I believe that Confessor is like the standard sort of beam Kai Confessor you'd normally see on TQ. So he only really has that like small ancillary to try and keep him up. You can see him his armor's dipping lower and lower, so he could be in trouble here. Well, let's look at the Blackbird from Wrecking Crew is down. That's a lot of pressure off the Spooky Action team.
Yeah, their control bar, you can see, is now a lot smaller, and their Stork actually is probably going to die. Yep, Stork down here as well. He actually looked like had that Prophecy tackled. So you can see the Confessor actually managing to rep himself.
Yeah, looks like Wild Things as well has kind of stabilized. I think it's still taking a bit of damage. You can't really afford to reload the ancillary. They've got a grappler on that Prophecy of Vordak Caliga, but he's going to be pretty tanky. Looks like the Armageddon is scrammed in Web 2. Oracle just took a massive chunk out of him. I believe that's probably the Typhoon's cruise missiles hitting into him. And he's nanofit. He doesn't have like any kind of tank aside from a damage control, I believe. So he's probably going down in the next 2 salvos from that Typhoon.
Yeah, he is a very low structure, and once those cruise missiles are already off, there's not much more. And the Oracle is down, so it looks like Wrecking Crew down to 3 team members. So it looks like clear victory already for Spooky Action. However, of course, with the boundary and a lot of some DPS still left on Wrecking Crew's team, they may be able to claw something back and get away with a kill or 2.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to clear the Spooky Action team now. I think the only real play that they maybe have is to try and kill the Typhoon and then win by the timer running out if the Armageddon's able to tank what is left. They don't have a super ton of DPS, although I think it's probably still, like, even if they lose the Typhoon, they can probably still break the Armageddon with the Retribution, Confessor, All-Around Prophecy DPS.
Yeah, the Prophecy here, especially for Lynx, was a really good choice. It's has a lot of tank, can do a decent amount of damage, as well as also having those. So keeping their Prophecy here and actually really using it to help secure some of these kills was crucial for Spooky.
Yeah, we saw a Punisher cleared up just recently. Retribution is now scrammed, so it's probably going down pretty soon, and then it's going to be the entirety of the Spooky Action team versus Wrecking Crew's Armageddon, I should say.
Yeah, and it looks like this last Retribution is going down. He is finally scrammed and can no longer. The Geddon, I don't believe, unless it somehow manages to kill the Spooky Action Punisher, I do not believe it can actually clear anything. It looks like it is going for a final brawl against that Typhoon, though.
Yeah, and it doesn't actually, unless Rocket can kill everything except for the Typhoon or kill the Typhoon, then he doesn't actually have any chance of winning. He basically has to win this match. He has to kill that Typhoon and survive until the end of the timer.
Yeah, that Typhoon has such long range, so cruise missiles versus heavy rapids. Obviously, the Typhoon will be able to kite him out like almost forever, and even if the Geddon gets newts, you can still shoot missiles while being complete.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning this Armageddon has rapid heavy missiles, So they only have about a 66-kilometer range, whereas the Typhoon has cruise missiles. So the Typhoon could easily just like camp like 80 kilometers away from him, and if he ever is in trouble, in like danger of getting caught, and the Typhoon shouldn't get caught because he's faster anyway, like he could just send the Punisher or the Retribution in to just tackle him. And I mean, the Prophecies can do that too. They have so many ships that can just screen for that Typhoon if it's ever needed. So I don't think they have any real way. I don't think he has any real way to win this match, unfortunately.
Yeah, though it looks like it does have a local rep, so he will be able to survive a little while longer. Normally, when we get down to one member of the remaining team, they just kind of get volleyed off the field, but leaving the Armageddon for last because of how much tank and HP it has compared to, say, some of these other ships, such as was clearly a wise choice by Spooky.
Yeah, Rocket's about to enter structure here. Unfortunately, I don't think he's really able to do anything here.
Yeah, we can see. I think he was primarying the Prophecy based on the fact that Wild Things, Sid, Valana, and Strato are all passively regenerating, and that finally the Armageddon is gone for Wrecking Crew. So victory to Spooky, and with that, we'll send it back to Ithaca and the studio.